Why does your phone have more control over your life than you do? Day in and day out, all we do is scroll. And honestly, it seems pretty harmless. I mean, the videos that you're sending to your friends are funny, and what's wrong with laughing? Why wouldn't you do that every single second of every single day of every single week of every single month of every single year? But every so often, you get that feeling. It's that little voice in the back of your head that pipes up and asks, is this really what our life has become? And then pretty quickly, you think that's a dumb thought, so you go back to scrolling on your phone. But that little voice and that thought is always there, and for good reason too. I think that deep down, we all know it inside of ourselves that we were never supposed to end up like this. In this video, we're gonna be going over the hidden cost of scrolling on our phones all the time, what we can do about it, and how we can actually trick our brains into being addicted to spending our time in healthier ways. But before we get into that, all right, look, I'm not making any sort of shocking discovery here. Like, we know that our phones are ruining our lives. Like, it's easy, it's almost a meme, in fact, to say phone bad. Like, we all have that friend that'll like to say things like, we live in a society. And if I'm being honest, I'm probably that friend. But if we know that phones make us feel like garbage all the time, why do we keep coming back for more? Well, in Jonathan Haidt's 2023 book, The Anxious Generation, he puts some rhyme to the reason of phone bad. He does this by looking at the data on things like mental health, body image, and even suicide rates between the years 2007, when the iPhone was introduced, and about 2013, when the front-facing camera had reached ubiquity. And his findings were nothing short of shocking, but despite how tragic they were, I can't really say that they were very surprising. He found that mental health issues in adolescence spiked hard during those years, attributing most, if not all of those results, to the cultural impacts that smartphones brought about during their rise to ubiquity. So now, without a question, we definitively know that phones are, in fact, bad. And the reason we can't stop picking our phones up becomes a whole lot more obvious when you realize that corporations have billions of dollars to spend on making a device that literally prints money for advertisers and shareholders, so of course they're gonna find a way to make it more addictive. In fact, here's the co-founder of Facebook, Sean Parker, literally just saying that in 2017.
That thought process was all about, how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? We need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while, and that's going to get you to contribute more content. It's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology.
Wait, hold on. Did you hear that? What exactly is that vulnerability? Well, in the 5 minutes of Googling that I did, I found out that it's a built-in vulnerability that has evolved over time. And it's something that we didn't know we had control over until very recently. And if you want to know what it is, I've got 2 words for you: neural pathways. They're like tiny little highways in your brain between 2 synapses that help you think, learn, and make decisions. Basically, anytime you do something that your brain likes, like picking up your phone to look at videos like this, your brain releases dopamine. The problem is that scrolling on social media actually hacks that system. You see, your brain's reward system was not built for 2025. It was designed to keep our cave-dwelling ancestors alive by rewarding them for finding food, making friends, and avoiding danger. Like, every time they did something good that helped them stay alive, their brain was like, we gotta keep doing this. This is good. But now in 2025, we rarely have to worry about lions, tigers, and/or bears threatening our livelihood. Instead, we have taxes, rent, careers, and things like The Bachelor that our reward system has to juggle constantly. Oh yeah, add to the mix the weaponization of our own dopamine against our minds. Every vibration, every notification, and every scroll is perfectly engineered to hack that ancient reward system. And as much as we'd like to believe that Instagram and Facebook are there to help keep us updated on which family member's having a baby or who won the big game, they're really only there for one reason. And that is to exploit the very thing that not only makes us human, but has kept us alive for this long. All right, so we're completely screwed, right? There's no solution here? Yeah, actually, you're correct about that. If you were the saddest person of all time, there is actually something we can do about this. Do you remember those neural pathways from before? The highway in your brain thing? Highway in your brain sounds like a song from the 80s. Here's the thing. The more you repeat a behavior, the stronger those neural pathways become. That's why you check your phone without even realizing you're checking your phone. Your brain has constructed a freeway to make it as easy as possible. I mean, that's just habit building 101. But the good news is, habits can change. All All right, if any of you have touched grass lately, it's likely that you've probably seen something like this while on a hike. Among the forest and the trees and the occasional wild animal, there are trails. On some of these trails that break off from the main one, it's clear that someone or something, like a pack of deer, use these trails more often than the other ones. If you decide to veer off the beaten path and the one that you're on right now, it'll probably be pretty difficult. There are rocks in the way, it's kind of overgrown with shrubbery and other things you find in a forest, like logs and trees are logs. Basically what I'm saying is the more you take this path over time, the easier it is to walk on. And if you haven't caught on yet, this is a metaphor. I hear they're good for YouTube storytelling. But we already know how easy it is to get in phone jail every time we pick up our phone. But lucky for us, I've designed a little framework. It's called the Hike Protocol. Yay, woohoo! It's your trail map for leaving the path that you're on and blazing new ones that actually lead somewhere worth going. It's 4 letters and 4 steps to get your brain back on the right path. Let's check it out. Okay, the H in the Hike Protocol stands for halt. First, you need to recognize when you're on autopilot. You can't leave the main trail if you don't realize that you're on it. These are the moments when you reach for your phone. Whether it's the first thing you do when you wake up or when you're sitting on the toilet, gross, don't do that. When you're standing in line somewhere, or when you feel that whisper of boredom that says you can't just be not doing anything. Start catching yourself in these moments where you reach for your phone. The I in the Hike Protocol stands for identify. This is like you standing between the fork in the path between the main road and the one less traveled. Which trail do you want to go down? Do you want to go down the main one that you've been on, which is your bad habits, or do you want to start exploring a new one? The important thing here is to think about why that new trail is worth the extra effort. And I really encourage you to think about all of the things that you're sacrificing every time you pick up your phone to scroll through social media. Because the truth is, 1 hour here and 2 hours here, or maybe 4 hours in the evening on some night, really add up over the course of your entire life. When you reflect on your own personal reason as to why you want to explore the new trail, that why becomes like your compass. And without it, you'll keep wandering back to the old trail. Okay, the K stands for key behaviors. And this is where it gets interesting. What are the key behaviors or key actions that'll make that new trail that much more walkable? Basically, just think about things that'll make your new habit of not scrolling on your phone that much easier. Maybe it's keeping a book by your bed, or keeping your running shoes by the door, or setting intentional and regular time with your friends, or finally buying that journal that you've been eyeing. Meaningful habit change is at its best when it's made as easy as possible, when there's little to no friction involved. Small steps, clear, big paths. And the last letter in the Hike Protocol is E, which stands for execute. And this is where most hikers turn back. It's like standing at the start of a new trail and waiting for a perfect moment to take a step. But here's the thing, perfection doesn't really exist in a forest, much less the rest of nature, or life for that matter. We get deep here, what can I say? The longer you wait to pick up that book or go on a run or see that friend that you haven't seen for a while or start journaling, the longer it takes to actually build a meaningful habit. Even if the path is unclear, even if there's obstacles, take one step and then take another step and then keep doing that. Because the secret is every step that you take is designed to make the next one that much easier. See, the more often you choose healthier ways of attaining that sweet, sweet dopamine, the more addicted to those healthy things you get. It's the same process that your brain went through when it got addicted to being on your phone. By leveraging our brain's ability to follow our reward system, we can actually trick it into getting addicted to the right thing, which sounds like a pretty useful skill to have these days. All right, the Hike Protocol is not really meant to be a Sigma Alpha mindset grindset productivity hack or some woo-woo digital mindfulness meditation, but rather it's your map to resetting the thing that actually makes you a human being. If you've often wondered why it's so hard to put down the very thing that we know is absolutely horrible for us, look no further than our brains just trying to make sense of the modern world. But if you want to start making sense of some other tools from the modern era, then you should check out this video right here. I truly think you'll love it. Also, YouTube thinks you'll love it too. So that's like 2 against 1 at this point. You might as well watch. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped. And remember, keep scrolling mindfully.